we offer all of those things. That's why we say it's your day, your way, because you can make it really what you want. So, the afternoon could be an outing to a theater or a museum or the park or ice cream or something like that. You would pick and choose what you value the most and what you want to do that day.
Hi, I'm Agnes Stowicki, Managing Editor with Comfort Life. We're speaking with insiders from Canada's leading retirement communities and care providers to uncover insights to community lifestyle, care, culture, and leadership. This includes insights from residents, family members, and administration. This is the Comfort Life Insider Perspective.
That's a good question. I think I enjoy the most working with seniors and hearing about, their life stories and um, where they grew up, what they did in their careers, what their life was before coming to Amica. I think that's sort of my favorite thing about the job, but I also love seeing when residents move in and they really start to thrive and enjoy the atmosphere and start to really get into enjoying this chapter of their life. Those are my favorite things, I think. Um, I think Amica in general drew me to general management. So I'm really proud to be working with them. They're, Canada's leading senior living company. Um, I was drawn to them because of what they offer. So they offer, in terms of services, everything from independent living all the way to end of life. So we can, provide any kind of service that a resident might need for support. And I like being able to help anyone. So that's what drew me to Amica for sure. My grandfather was a fiddler, and when I was a child, I would tour with him to seniors' homes, and he was on like a little sort of tour in my local community in Thunder Bay. And that's where I kind of got my feet wet into the industry in terms of seeing what it was all about. And that's when I decided that this was the right place, this was the right industry for me to be in. Um, so I still fiddle for the residents sometimes, St. Patrick's Day or like other events where it's appropriate for me to join. But yeah, that's a little bit of my story. Um, I think Amica Dundas has one of the most beautiful locations that I've ever seen. So it's got a really great walking score. It's local to a grocery store, to a pharmacy, to like a beautiful downtown Dundas where there's lots of shops, lots of little places to go, coffee, lunches, clothing shops, that kind of thing. It's all walkable within a couple of blocks. I think that in itself is sort of, you know, the most impressive thing about Amica Dundas, outside of it being such, a warm and welcoming atmosphere when you come in. It does feel very like home-like environment. Outside of that, I think the location is key here. Um, I think the most common thing we hear about Amica Dundas is that they've heard about us through word of mouth. So just, people sharing in the community, people sharing in the industry, in terms of the services we offer, in terms of, the kind people that work here, residents who moved in, what their experiences have been like. Um, it's mostly word of mouth that we hear that that's why people have moved in. Um, so Amica Dundas has, 3 different neighborhoods to live in. They've got independent living, they've got memory care, and they've got assisted living. So within each neighborhood, there's 5 or more programs every day. So those programs could include we have exercise classes for different levels of mobility. We have aquafit classes every week. We have outings to grocery shopping or to just shopping centers, to theaters, to lunches, to local areas. Um, We've got documentaries happening. We've got quite a bit of like variation of activities going on a regular basis. We've even got like a live theater group of residents that get together and meet every week to come up with a play that they put on for the rest of the residents. We've got, which is pretty awesome, we've got a pretty active gardening group. We've got some raised beds out back that are quite beautiful, and a active group that works together to maintain those. So it kind of just depends on what you like to do, but there's quite a bit offered on a regular basis. Lots of like organic connections between residents too. So just getting together to play like euchre or bridge or those kinds of things. We've got quite a lot of residents here too. So right now we have about 220 people living here. So there's lots of opportunity to connect with other people, or there might even be, oftentimes people are moving in and they already know a couple people that live here. So there's multiple ways of doing that. We have two life enrichment coordinators and we have life enrichment assistants as well. So they're responsible for facilitating the programming that we have happening on a day-to-day basis. So they will meet with the residents regularly to get feedback on what they want to do and what they would like to see more of, or maybe what they want to see less of. We also have monthly meetings with our entire resident group. We call those resident meetings, and that's with our whole management team present, and we get some feedback on what's working there as well. And then we've also got different ways to submit suggestions and feedback anonymously too. So you can do that through our suggestion box we have outside of our dining room. And then we're always very like open door concept. So amongst our leadership team, any of the residents are able to pop in and say, hey, I want to see more of this or less of this. And we're always opening to hearing what they would like to do and see, and open to their requests. I think the best menu item that I've had at Amica Dundas has to have been our chef did butter chicken a little while ago, and it was like phenomenal. So it was a homemade recipe that he was teaching our cooks how to prepare, and he ensured that some of the staff were able to share that experience as well. And it was incredibly so much flavor happening, and I just remember it because not only was like the butter chicken really flavorful, but the rice was flavorful. So that I think has to have been my favorite so far. So our menu is designed from so we call it support office, but our menu is designed from head office. It's reviewed by a dietitian to ensure that we're meeting the needs of our residents. From there, it gets reviewed by our local chef, who's our director of culinary services. And what he'll do is just see that, each day, is it representing what our residents at Amica Dundas like? So, our residents here really enjoy fish and chips on Fridays. So, if that's not something that was sent to us in our quarterly menu, then that would be something that might get changed. We also like to incorporate like seasonal things. So, um, we're doing fresh corn right now. So that might not have been on the original menu that was sent to us, but it's something that our residents look forward to and something they like to see kind of local. They want to see some local food. So we have the autonomy to make some changes like that based on what the residents like and enjoy. So the way that Amica Dundas is it's your day your way. So you pick and choose which programs and what you want to do that day. So a typical day may be coming to breakfast. In our independent living neighborhood, it's a continental breakfast. So maybe coming down, getting some fresh coffee, or maybe like a vanilla drink, maybe getting a juice and some hot oatmeal. Maybe bringing that back to your suite, or maybe enjoying it in the bistro with some other residents. Maybe then you want to go to like an aquafit class, and there's just the options are sort of endless. Maybe you want to go for a walk downtown. Maybe there's, another resident you want to connect with. Maybe there's, part of the gardening group that you want to be part of. It's really your day, your way. So in terms of that though, sometimes people need a little bit of help, maybe getting to and from places, or maybe a reminder that there's a program happening, or maybe support to bring breakfast to them. We offer all of those things. That's why we say it's your day, your way, because you can make it really what you want. So, the afternoon could be an outing to a theater or a museum or the park or ice cream or something like that. You would pick and choose what you value the most and what you want to do that day. The dining room is a great place to socialize as well. So some residents like to just, be independent in their apartment and treat it as such, and then enjoy their meals with their friends. So each person's different, and it's just based on what they like to do. And we're able to offer support for any of it. And it's such a great location too. So you can you can choose to stay here all day and have all the different options available to you, or you can pop out and go for a walk if you're able to. Enjoy the gardens and enjoy the downtown and those kinds of things as well. So we have 215 suites here at Amica Dundas. I think that the benefits of the community of this size is that in independent living, in assisted living, and in memory care, specifically independent living, like we offer care packages throughout all three neighborhoods. So if you're somebody that doesn't want to move, you don't have to. The benefits of memory care is that it's a secure unit. So if there was concerns with someone, say, wandering or safety issues or something like that, that might be a more appropriate neighborhood. But really, if somebody wants to age in place and stay in their apartment in independent living, we offer that all the way until, potential palliative care, end of life services. So I think the benefit is that the options are available and the services are sort of they're open, they're endless. We're able to do almost anything. So somebody's able to, age in place and really make where they're living their home without having to move again, which is pretty awesome in my perspective. It can be scary to move to another neighborhood where you have or another location, or sometimes you see it in the industry where people sort of have to move around to have their needs met, and sometimes that can be hard because it might be a new location, a new dining room, it might be a new care team, it might be all these new things when you're likely experiencing some changes within yourself, whether it's cognitively or physically, and that can make that move really difficult. So I think that's one of our kind of strengths that we have at Amica, and one of the key offerings we have for sure. So Amica Dundas has three different neighborhoods. We have an independent living neighborhood, we have a memory care neighborhood, and we have an assisted living neighborhood. So within each neighborhood, there's service offerings provided. The difference would be that memory care, for example, is a secure unit. So when we see people that might need that little bit of support to um, maybe a wandering risk or something like that, it might be a more appropriate neighborhood for them. But care is available in all three neighborhoods. So we do levels at Amica, levels of care. And in independent living, for example, we offer the same levels of care that we do in assisted living and in memory care. So someone's able to stay in their apartment, and, as their needs may progress, they're able to get services in independent living as well. So somebody can move into independent living without any care at all. and then, live their life there as their apartment, as their new home. And as things change, they're able to get services coming in to support them, all the way to palliative care services and end of life. So sometimes people might need support with reminders, or support with medication administration, or support with getting in and out of bed, or getting ready in the morning, or getting ready at night before they go to bed. We offer all of those services within all three neighborhoods. It's just a matter of which neighborhood is more suited for you. Absolutely. I think it's important to ensure that we know, you know, what's out there for residents. And I think if we're not the right solution for that person, then we would support that person with deciding on another solution for them. That being said, we do offer everything that sort of a long-term care would offer. We offer, supports that other places might not, through our higher levels of care. So, I mean, we're able to have those discussions prior to offering alternate solutions. But if this wasn't the right place, then that's okay too, and we can support with finding other places for sure. Communication with family and residents is very important. So I think for our leadership team, we want to make sure that we're present in the community day to day, that we have an open door, that we're available, that we attend the programs, that we attend the events, that we have open conversations, and that we're just present to have those conversations with residents. Further to that, we have newsletters. We have meetings with our residents and their families. As much communication as possible. We have email lists. In any way we can, we're in constant communication. We share our email addresses and phone numbers openly, so we often have people, reaching out with any kind of questions they might have. We've got managers that are here 7 days a week, able to talk to families and talk to residents with any needs that they might have. Um, so Amica Dundas, we have a section of the building that's a little bit newer than the other section. So in 2016, we opened what we call phase two of the building. So we'll start to see some renovations happening in phase one. But further to that, I don't see any, huge changes happening. Just no, no big changes. Welcoming new residents into the community is a really important piece of, their journey at Amica. So we have a move-in liaison and a resident ambassador. So the move-in liaison would be one of our leadership team, one of our managers, sort of being the go-to person to make sure that they understand what time the meals are, communication with the family about the move-in process, sort of all the questions that come up with a move-in. We have one key person that we assign to them, to kind of help with that whole process. We also have a resident ambassador assigned to them. So that resident ambassador would be responsible for getting to know the new resident and ensuring that they understand sort of the ins and outs of Amica Dundas, that they understand, what time to come down to get breakfast, or what the programs are, or maybe there's connections with other residents because they were both professors at McMaster University, so they might be able to have some good conversation at the dinner table. So those kinds of things. That all needs to happen prior to, as well as during the move-in process, just so that it's smooth and that um, new residents are sort of comfortable moving in. Um, we're also inviting them to um, events or activities or things before they move in, so that they can kind of get an understanding of, so that they're comfortable. They can meet people, they know what they're getting into, and they can see the type of living that we offer prior to moving in so that it's not such a drastic change, and that hopefully it reduces some of that anxiety or fear that comes with it for some people. An event that I look forward to. Um, I think I look forward to our theater group productions the most. So we have a live theater group of residents that put on plays and productions, pretty frequently, and they are like an incredible group of residents that really, I think, motivates the rest of the residents to want to participate in things as well. Um, the last play they did was My Fair Lady, and that was the biggest attendance from residents that I've ever seen here. And I was just, it was incredible. It was really, really heartwarming to see that. The one prior to that was Fiddler on the Roof, and they also did a great job with that. I'm a fiddler myself, so they asked me to be the fiddler. So I was I was part of the play, and I was just proud to be, up there with them, and really I was just, it's so heartwarming to see how excited they are to want to do that kind of stuff and to work with each other and put something on for the other residents. So I think that's my, I'm excited for the next event. They haven't decided what it's gonna be yet, but that would be my favorite for sure, just because I see the excitement and the value that everybody gets out of it. It takes them about, so they would meet every week for about 2 to 3 months, depending on how complicated the play is. Um, And yeah, we have one of our life enrichment coordinators who supports them with it. So helps them with like the microphones and the earpieces and all of that. Um, but yeah, they work really hard at it and they do an amazing job. And I think it's this the last play, the residents wanted to see it a second time. So they're gonna have to consider multiple performances moving forward. For those looking for senior living, I think it's important to look at all of your options, to take a look around, look at location, look at service offerings, look at the reputation of the company, um, look at, the availability and does that line up with what you're looking for? Um, and I think when you're searching, like, talk to residents while you're looking around, talk to staff while you're looking around, try and get like a full perspective, and I think when you do that, you can really see the culture of the home too and of the company that you're looking at to try and get a full understanding of, is this the right place for my loved one? So I think if you look at the services in terms of what you would like your loved one to be able to have as they age, right? So um, I think that's an important piece too. So making sure that there's enough services available that potentially they don't have to move again. That's a big piece.
And my final question, what would you say to people who may be missing out on what your community offers?
People who might be missing out on what the community offers. I think the biggest thing would be to come and see, come and take a look, or call us and have a conversation about what we offer. It's a beautiful place and it's a lovely location. So Dundas is a gorgeous little valley with, very friendly people. It's a small community. Um, Lots of little shops and great places to go to. But the location, I think, is key, and our service offerings are key. Um, what I would encourage you to do is just call us or drop in for a visit and see what it's all about.
For more information about this community, you can visit their profile at comfortlife.ca.